Hi, I'm Richard Caddy. Welcome to the latest podcast from NHS Midlands and Lancashire Commissioning Support Unit from the NHS ConfedExpo in Manchester. I'm joined by Kelly Bishop of the Commissioning Support Unit's Nursing and Urgent Care team. Hi Kelly.
Hi Richard, nice to be here.
And we're talking today about a project that your team's undertaken across the whole of Northern Ireland. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, of course. We were invited by the Northern Ireland Health and Social Care System as an experienced team to come and help them support their urgent care pathways. They've got real big challenges in Northern Ireland, as the rest of the UK at the moment, in long waits in the emergency departments, long ambulance turnaround times. So we're asked to come and share our experience and support them, really try and make that journey, the patient journey better.
And can you just describe the size of your team and what your specialisms are and what you bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, we're a really fantastic team. It's a mixture of experienced senior clinical staff, operational staff, and also data analysts. So we come from all backgrounds. Clinically, we've got specialists in elective care, emergency care, admission avoidance, discharge pathways. Operationally, local authority backgrounds can really bring that real life experience in, and a team of 3 brilliant data scientists. So collectively.
Okay, so Northern Ireland population of what, just under 2 million? How many hospitals were you working across?
Okay, so we were invited to work over the 5 main acute sites in Northern Ireland. We went and we did 5 site visits, and we spent 3 days on each of the sites, which is a real privilege really for any team to be able to do that. Okay,
and did that allow you to make any conclusions about how things could be done differently?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you reflect, and when you've worked, in hospitals and on the ground and in all sorts of strategic arenas as well, is there any absolute genius to this? Maybe not. But what we can see absolutely is that people have lost their normal practice through the pandemic, that normal way of working. Clinical staff on the ground perhaps now aren't as used to the pressures, and they're used to working through a pandemic. So they've lost the rhythm a lot in terms of how hospitals should work, and our work there was more perhaps reintroducing the foundations of maybe we had some while back, and working with staff on the ground, execs. It's a coaching capacity to be able to do that.
So what were the processes that you kind of retaught them to implement?
So there's 3 elements really when we go out and we work with sites. So the first element is working in departments of wards. So myself and clinical team will actually spend time on the ground working with the matrons, senior matrons, ward managers, the nurses and the allied health professionals as well, going through with them patient detail one by one to really understand what's happening in their hospital and their needs. And by doing that, we sort of use coaching mentality to encourage them to really appreciate the importance of early discharge. It's really easy as a ward on a nurse, and our team have all been there to focus on your ward that day, your patient, and the risk to your patient on that ward. Modern nursing and modern care is very much about understanding the risk as a system, and actually maybe the main clinical risk isn't actually on your ward. Maybe it's with the patient in the ambulance that can't offload. Maybe it's the patient that's dialed 999. So really working with staff to have that longer viewpoint, and then how they would bring those discharges earlier in the day. Working with executives is the second element, actually how they can use data to make real-time decisions about how to best make those action-orientated days to encourage flow through their hospitals, and then working in the emergency department themselves, again how to sort of refresh and restructure and create some headspace for the clinicians in the emergency department to make the right decisions.
The emergency departments probably create more headlines concerned with the NHS than anything else. What do you think are the key issues here?
Well, in the emergency department, they're highly congested, and what we mean by that is there's more patients in the emergency department than there ever has been before. So we use the term they're busier, but actually, yeah, they're busier in terms of they're fuller. There's more patients in the department, but it's not necessarily because more patients are coming through the front door. It's because we're not moving them out of the back door and flowing them through A&E. And as emergency departments are crowded and the clinicians can't sort of have lots of headspace and time to do their assessments, they're feeling under pressure. They've not got the right clinical environment to do that. It doesn't help them make the best decision for the patient all the time. So that's the difference with the emergency departments at the moment. It's that crowding is causing a real problem.
So this work you've been doing is enabling the leadership to make real-time operational decisions, is it?
It has, and it's about really getting real-time data flow through to make those decisions. We use the term regularly on our site visits, which I think really resonates, which is soon is not a time, some is not a number, and hope is not a plan. And obviously the amount of conversations we have on site when a patient is, how many patients are going today? Oh, some. When? Soon. What do you need to make that happen? I hope they'll come off. It's such a regular conversation in hospitals. So we really do work with trusts to say that that's, we need numbers. So, what time, how many, and what actions need to happen to make it happen. And that's a really effective way of working.
So this sounds to me like a clinical equivalent of sort of one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurant takeovers. The key to it is, can they sustain it? Have they made changes, and do you think they'll be able to sustain those?
Yeah, and that's a very good question. I want to get asked often. I suppose dissimilar to Gordon Ramsay is we are very personable, we work on ground, and we are, I suppose our mantra is we're there with you, shoulder by shoulder. We don't go into trust to performance manage them and tell them what to do. We go into trust to stand by their shoulder and actually work through their challenges with them, hand in hand. And I think that's a really important difference that we make.
So you're less confrontational and less sweary than Gordon,
Absolutely, yeah. And actually, in terms of sustainability, one of the main feedbacks we have is how trusts have appreciated our approach as a team, and that we do go in, we're very gentle. Trusts are having a really hard time. Staff are really tired. The last thing they need is people going in and telling them what to do in a Gordon Ramsay style. So we absolutely have that coaching, mentoring approach that's more sustainable. I've actually just met one of the executives from a Northern Ireland trust here at the Confederation today.
I was still talking to you.
He will, yeah, we're still talking. And I actually asked him the question, has it sustained? And he said absolutely some elements have. They're talking about golden patients and having, the important use of data. So obviously, the pressures are out there, they continue, but the language, and they often refer back to the things we've done. So yes, that has sustained in that trust.
So what is a golden patient?
The golden patient.
The golden patient.
Yeah. So a golden patient is a patient that you identify the day before the discharge of that patient is due, and that patient you identify to be ready to go 8 a.m, 8:30. So it's your first patient that you can discharge from the ward. This is really important because A&Es are busy overnight. And they often have long waiters that come in overnight. So if you can identify those first available beds in the morning, you can really get some movement through ED. So they are truly the golden patients.
So it's all part of an elaborate choreography, isn't it, really?
It absolutely is. And it is a choreography, but the thing is about hospitals and flow, discharge, admissions is they're all predictable. So we use data. So there's never any surprise when an A&E is busier or more crowded. It's never any surprise. It's in terms of seasons. Winter is coming. Winter always comes around every year. So nothing in the emergency care world generally is not expected. So it's about getting ahead of the curve very much.
Okay, Kelly, so what's the next challenge for your team?
Oh, that's a really good question. Clearly, to continue the work we've been doing in Northern Ireland, we're having conversations with Wales, and that's something that we feel makes a real difference. We want to do, but we've also got lots more that we've been working on as a team. That's really exciting. We really want to still develop our data-informed insight. So continue working with system control centres, A&E delivery boards, to how to use data to really enhance their urgent care pathways. We've got some great work we're developing in terms of reducing length of stay, stipulated length of stay, which is around reducing the respiratory pathways. And also we have a new product and team, new clinical leads in place where we're focusing on supporting trusts with CQC readiness, also smaller providers, hospitals, around their CQC assessments and peer review. So we've got a really extensive peer review underway around haemoglobin disorders. So we're really kind of excited. That's a 2-year programme that we're embedded on. So yeah, really good times ahead for us.
Great, that's wonderful. Thanks for joining me, Kelly.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
If you would like to know more about Midlands and Lancashire Commissioning Support Unit, go to our website mlcsu.co.uk.